Welcome back to Norwood Digest. Joining me now is an old friend, Rob Way. You probably know him from Channel 7 Weekend Anchor News and doing reporting, but Rob got his start right in this studio. So what's it like to be back in the studio where it all began?
Well, it's pretty cool. This is the exact spot we had the desk beforehand, so when I used to do the news when I was in high school. It's pretty awesome to be back and then to see the program still thriving. We talked with one of the classes here, some of the seniors and some of the juniors, just about the experience of being in the class and kind of what brought me to where I am today. And it all started right here.
So you really took advantage in a positive way of the studio and everything. I mean, I think you were a sophomore when you had your own show, the Rob Way Show.
Yeah.
So how'd that get started? What kind of things did you do?
Sure. So one of the things that I really wanted to do once I kind of fell in love with the storytelling aspect of everything was start my own show and do some interviews, because I love sitting down with people and having a conversation, as do you. And one of the things I thought of was, let's start my own show and we'll have our own platform to kind of do whatever we want. I reached out to everyone. I mean, I got so many no's or ignored messages, but then there were so many people that did say yes, and we ended up having great conversations. One of the most memorable was Maggie Bish, which I know a lot of people in this area probably are familiar with the Molly Bish story and the missing. So we went out with her missing daughter. So we went out to Western Massachusetts, interviewed her. We won an award for that interview.
That was a national award, no?
Yes, yeah, it was with the Public Access Awards. So it just showed me that we were doing the right thing, that we were on the right track. And then I just kind of fell in love with storytelling more and more. And it all started right here and let me build my skills. So I was ready to go to college and take it to the next level.
So what was the most surprising yes you got for when you reached out to everybody?
Yeah, well, the president said no. Gotta try. But one of the yeses was one of the members of the Little Rock Nine. So the first 9 black students that were integrated into an all-white high school in the South, in Little Rock, Arkansas. And one of the members was actually coming up here to speak to a school, I think a few towns over. So I reached out to him and asked, would you come on over into our studio here and sit down with me to have a conversation? And I think we wound up having a 45-minute conversation. We then played, I don't know if you remember the app, Words with Friends, the Scrabble app. So we played with that. I emailed him just a few weeks ago. We were still catching up and still staying in touch.
Wow, that's nice.
So it created this great friendship as well. But it was such a fascinating story to tell, and one that we obviously hadn't told in quite some time.
So after Norwood High, you went to Emerson, and what kind of stuff did you do there?
Yeah, at Emerson College gives you just that hands-on experience. You're right in the heart of the city at the Boston Common. So one of the big things we did was go cover the Donald Trump when he was first inaugurated president back in 2017. We went down, we did live shots, we were working around the clock, turning different stories. So that was just one of the very first hands-on experiences I had. And then we even had situations where we're in class and there's a shooting in the Boston Common. It doesn't happen often, but my teacher said, go, grab a camera and go and report. So it gave you that hands-on experience to cover the breaking news aspect and also the big stories. So the program there really allowed us to explore all our skills in so many different ways.
I meant to ask you this off air, but I'm thinking of it now and I'll forget.
Okay.
Did you ever have Mark Lachese?
Yes.
Did you?
Yes.
He
was one of my professors.
Yeah. He's
oh my
a good
gosh.
friend of mine.
Oh,
great
wow.
guy. Probably a great professor, I bet.
Oh, he was the best.
Yeah.
He was the best. That's awesome. He recently retired, I think.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah. We can keep going, yeah.
So you graduating from Emerson. Did you get a job right away?
Yes.
That's pretty good.
Yes, I was very lucky. I was really lucky. So I was applying to different jobs in that final couple months at school, and I got a job offer up in Burlington, Vermont, and down in Charleston, South Carolina. And I was just weighing the different options. And I had always grown up in the Northeast. I love the Northeast. So I thought maybe it's time to go branch off and try something new down in the South. And it was an amazing experience. I was there for about 3.5 years.
And you were the host of the morning show, or do I have that right?
Thank you. We could say that. No, I was not. I was a reporter at first, and then I made my way inside, and I was one of the main fill-in anchors for the morning show, as well as I did the breaking news desk in the morning. So I reported all the different breaking news.
And how'd you get back here?
So my contract was coming up down in Charleston, so I started applying to different jobs, and I knew I wanted to come home. This is home. So I knew I wanted to be closer to family And so I started applying to different Boston stations, and I wasn't really applying anywhere else. I was putting all my eggs in one basket, and I got the call back from Channel 7, and the rest was kind of history. I got the reporting job, and then I've been able to grow while there too.
And now you've just, well, not just, but recently, you're now the, weekend evening anchor?
Yes, the weekend evening anchor, and then on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, I'm out in the field reporting or filling in for some of our weekday anchors. It's a pretty amazing experience. It's one I've really loved. And the great balance of doing the anchoring and the reporting is I still get both.
Yeah,
I get a
good
taste
point.
of both. So it's a lot of fun.
What's the most exciting story you've ever done?
The most exciting story.
Or your favorite, either way. Because the favorite might not be as a,
One of the craziest things I've done on the clock, if you will, was we went down to cover one of the bowl games for football, college football, down in Charlotte, North Carolina. And we went to the Charlotte Motor Speedway where all the players were going. And it was NASCAR drivers driving all the football players around. And they asked us in the media if we wanted to have a ride. And I said, of course. So you hop in the car and you take off from the pit stop, which is about halfway. So you hit that first bend and you think, oh, this is easy. And then he goes. And I think we went 175 miles per hour. And you make the next bend and you're just inches. I was looking out, there's no window or anything, but I was looking out the window and I was like inches from the side of the wall.
Oh yeah,
I was like,
I'd be freaking out.
Yeah.
I'd have my own brake going.
Yeah, I know. I was clutching. But it was certainly a very cool experience. So that's certainly, in terms of excitement, I think one of the most exciting things I've done on the job. We've also covered a lot of very challenging stories too, which can always be difficult.
Yeah, so give us an example of that.
The most recent is the most challenging I've ever covered, and that was the Lewiston mass shooting.
Yeah.
It really rocks you as a reporter because you have to stay focused and stay with the facts and get people the information they need. So one of the things was that night when it happened, I was working on a totally different story, obviously, and they sent us up, and I was awake all night long and then started going live in the morning. For our morning show, I did live shots for CNN, and I did live shots for our sister station down in Miami through the whole morning.
Wow.
Then I reported all afternoon and all night. I didn't sleep for
what's
hours on
it
end.
like? I mean, it must be like not even the physical, the emotional draining.
Yeah, it really is. And talking with a community that's in such fear, because they were still at that time looking for the shooter, the suspected shooter. So it was one of the most challenging stories I've ever done, but I knew that is like how important our role is in telling the stories of this community to the whole world. So I knew how important my role was there, so that kind of faded everything else out.
Yeah, then you can get tunnel vision. And,
Exactly.
Yeah, it's totally different, but it reminded me when I was practicing law, when you're in a trial, you get tunnel focus and just, like a bomb could go off and you wouldn't even know it because you're focused on the jury.
You're so focused, exactly.
So we did have a chance to talk to a class next door, and the bell rang, so I didn't get a chance to ask you this, but I'm sure they're going to watch this. So what message would you give to somebody, in high school doing a TV program, just starting out?
Yeah, one of the big messages I would give is take advantage of every opportunity in front of you and then run with it. They are so lucky, and you are so lucky if you're watching this, to be partnered with a public access station like NCM, where you can go in there and say, hey, I have this idea. I want to start my own show. And they have the ability to help you, not only give you the opportunity to do it, but help you do it.
Right.
And in molding your own storytelling. So if you really have a passion, take it and run with it, because we need great storytellers. We need more people out there telling stories of the communities that matter to them and that impact them. So definitely, that's my biggest advice. Take these opportunities and learn everything you can. I learned everything. I learned from in the control room, where I wasn't very good at, to camera, to how to interview, to anchoring. It all started right here. So it's starting to build those skills and then hone them.
Now, did you get to do any editing nowadays, or do you have editors for that?
I don't edit anymore.
Yeah.
And I wasn't very good at it, so it's probably for the best, Jack. But back when I was in Charleston, South Carolina, I was doing editing as well as shooting and everything. So now I have a photographer who I go out with who is very good at those skills.
Okay. Well, hey, thank you so much for being with us.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
WHDH-TV. It's still
Yes,
HDH,
Channel
right?
7.
Channel 7. You'll see him on the weekends at evening, but Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and you never know when he's going to pop up anywhere. So Rob Way, who personally, I've known him for a long time. He graduated with my youngest daughter from this school. So good to see you. So good to see that you're still having great success.
Well, thank you. Great to see you too.
All right.